The first car that I can remember my dad driving when I was a kid, it was a 1985 Chevy Lumina. It was gray, it had 4 doors, it was epic. And at the time, I didn't really understand the types of cars that wealthy people drove. And it wasn't until I went to a carnival and I won a poster of a yellow Lamborghini that I started to finally get it. But just because of my upbringing, I don't think I ever thought that I could ever have enough money, that I could build enough wealth to buy that type of car. And what I didn't realize at the time that I know now is that I was already believing a myth that I didn't have the potential to become a millionaire. And I'm not the only one that believes these myths. You believe these myths too. So today we're gonna find out what are the 5 most common myths that people believe on how others become millionaires. And we're going to debunk those myths so that you can see that you have the potential to become a millionaire too. So let's find out what these 5 myths are right now. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Wealth Hacker TV, the channel dedicated to teaching you new ways to grow wealth that is not taught to you in schools or by your parents. I am your gracious host, Jeff Rose, and today we're talking about common myths that people believe on how others become millionaires. So these are things that people think on how others gain wealth, get rich, and become a millionaire. But here is a simple fact. If you believe that you cannot become a millionaire, it will not happen. So if you don't have the right mindset that believes that you can become a millionaire, it will not happen. And this is something that I had to change. And this change didn't happen overnight. It took time. It took time from riding in my dad's 1985 Chevy Lumina to in high school driving a 1991 Geostorm to finally getting to a point where I became a millionaire. So what are some of these common myths that others believe, that you probably believe, on how others become millionaires? Well, let's find out what those are right now. All right, the first common myth that people believe on how others become millionaires is that they inherited all of their money. They just think, oh, that's how that person got rich. They just must have got a big fat inheritance. Like they didn't work hard, they didn't hustle, they just inherited the money. And that's actually not true. It's actually reported that only 1/4 of people that become a millionaire inherited that money. So only 25% of people that have millionaire status inherited the money. The rest of us actually worked for that money. So maybe you're not as lucky as Michael Jackson's chimpanzee Bubbles, who reportedly inherited $2 million. But that's okay, because guess what? You can become a millionaire. Not everybody that's a millionaire inherited the money. They started a business, they saved, they invested, they figured out a way to grow wealth. They didn't just sit back and wait for their wealthy parents, grandparents to kick the bucket and inherit all that money. So go ahead and get that myth out of your system right now. All right, the second myth that people believe is that millionaires are all lucky. As if they just walk out into the field and then all of a sudden, boom, they find that pot of gold, or they got stacks of cash just falling from the sky. Like that's how they get their wealth. But here's the harsh truth. Most millionaires are self-made. I didn't inherit any money. I didn't come across a pot of gold in the field. Like I had to work my butt off to get to the point where I am today. Was there luck involved? Well, let me tell you this. Here's how millionaires are lucky. It's because we keep putting ourselves in situations where opportunities will present themselves to us. Because we are going out there, we are trying new things, we are trying new businesses, we are networking, we are pressing the flesh and just doing what it takes to grow that wealth. And when you put yourself out there, when you put yourself at risk for potential failure, like that's how you meet people. That's how you get that sweat equity. That's how you grow wealth, by experiences and networking. You know, it's funny when I share with others on how I met my business partner on one of my online businesses. Now, this is one of the businesses that has grown exponentially in the last few years. When I tell people how we met, we met online through a mutual online acquaintance who I had never met in person. But the reason that we met is because I was grinding it out. I was hustling. I was networking. I was trying to expand my business, trying to expand expand my network and meet new people. And because of that, by luck, I met my business partner that has opened so many other doors. And that's how millionaires get lucky. It's because they're not afraid to try new things. They're not afraid to put themselves out there. That's how you get lucky. You get lucky by taking risk. All right, speaking of risk, the third myth about how others become millionaires is that they make risky investments. Okay, now do millionaires, do wealthy people make some wealthy investments? Well, of course they do. But most of the time, they are weighing the risk versus the reward. They're not just gonna put all their money blindly into something that they don't understand, hoping to turn a fortune. In fact, most of those people are going to lose all of their money, or at least a good chunk. Yes, in my personal situation, I have taken some unnecessary risk with some investing, but I never put my family in a situation where we were at risk of losing our house or losing our way of life. You know, if I took a risk, it was always with a small amount of money in relation to our entire portfolio. Like, I never wanted to lose everything. I've always been very careful to understand the risk before I get into anything. I think this quote by Warren Buffett sums it up best. Warren has to say, "Don't risk what is important to you to get what is not important to you." Because at the end of the day, I have learned that making a fortune and building wealth at the sacrifice of my family is not worth it. So make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. Weigh the risk versus the reward. All right, we're gonna stay with risk for number 4. So the millionaire myth number 4 is that millionaires take stupid risks to build wealth quickly. So not everybody is Elon Musk, where we're gonna take all the money we made from PayPal, $165 million, and invest that into Tesla and into SpaceX. Like, Elon is a different breed. He is a rare animal. Like I mentioned before, most millionaires are going to weigh the risk versus the reward before they put their money into anything. But yet, many people believe that how other millionaires get their money, how they accrue their wealth and make their millions, is that they're putting their money into stupid, crazy, risky things. But see, most millionaires just don't throw money into a startup or put money into Bitcoin or trying to day trade penny stocks. Like, that's how many people want to accrue wealth and make their millions, when they want a shortcut. But most millionaires don't have a shortcut strategy. They have put in the time, they put in the money, they have put in the work to accrue their millionaire status. All right, the fifth myth that people believe on how others accrue their millions is that they have graduated from some sort of prestigious or private college, and that is no further from the truth. It's actually been reported that over half, check this out, over half of all millionaires have graduated from a public school. Not a private school, a public school. And it gets better. 10% of all millionaires don't even have a college degree. So if you are going to a public school, or you haven't even got a degree yet, there is a chance, there is a hope that you can become a millionaire. So if you don't believe me, check this out. Whenever I was graduating high school living in California, I applied to UCLA. Guess what? I got denied. I ended up going to community college. After community college, I applied to the University of Illinois. And guess what? I got denied. So I ended up going to a public state school. And I even started an MBA program that I dropped out on after one class. And despite all of that, I became a millionaire. Do not believe these myths. You can become a millionaire. But it takes, first of all, of getting your mind right, getting your mindset right. You can become a millionaire. That's where it starts. Then you gotta try new things. You gotta try the side hustles. You gotta start networking. You gotta start reading books. You gotta get off of YouTube. You gotta educate your mind, put yourself out there to see what happens. That's the only way. That's the only way it's gonna happen. You gotta make it. All right, y'all, hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Peace.